Coach is in the kitchen. Super excited today to have two of my great friends, Coach Claudia and Coach Jackie. Coach Claudia is a coach here in the Portland area, and Coach Jackie flew up from California just to be with us today to teach me, with Claudia's assistance, on how to create an amazing dish called cauliflower tamales.
Traditional tamales are not very healthy or low fat. They are made with cornmeal and either shortening or really traditionally it's lard. But we're gonna make dough today out of cauliflower and some other healthy ingredients. So I'm gonna show you how quick and easy it can be. We're gonna start with a head of cauliflower. I'm gonna quarter it because I wanna core it. I like using the food processor because it gets it really finely ground. So I just even break up the cauliflower flowerets in here. I also like using fresh cauliflower versus the frozen kind, because the frozen kind is already cooked and so it's very mushy. Okay, and then we're just gonna pulse it. Oh, is it plugged in?
I'll do that.
Yep. Just want to make sure, we don't want to puree it, we want to make it really fine. So the texture of it is more like sand. That's what's nice about using the food processor. It actually gets it really ground. You don't want to puree it. You don't want it to be like liquid. You want it to still have texture to it. We have 12 cups of the riced cauliflower. It was about 2 full heads of cauliflower.
Okay.
We now are going to add in 4 cups of mozzarella cheese. And we're going to add some eggs. This is going to bind it. So we did 8 egg whites. And we're gonna do 2 whole eggs. Claudia is gonna also share with us in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking guests here.
All right, so now it's my turn. Coach Jackie, lo que ella hizo fue es cortar el coliflor. So lo cortó en 4 partes para que puedas ver el centro y lo cortó en chunks para que lo podamos usar en el procesor. So, cuando lo cortó, lo puso en el procesor. Y lo cortamos en cortes finos para que se vea como queso fresco. No lo queremos que sea líquido, pero que tenga, pues sí, que se vea como queso fresco, como si lo vamos a echar en unas tortas o tacos. Do we include this center part or no?
We take it out because it tends to not get as ground up as this. Okay. The flowerets really crumble well.
Okay, so Coach Shannon preguntó si vamos a usar el stem del coliflor y no lo vamos a usar. Queremos usar todo la coliflor de afuera. Así podemos agarrar el coliflor que sea muy fino como aquí.
Excellent. Everybody got it?
Beautiful.
Excellent. The only other ingredient that we will add to our mixture is some seasoning. We're going to be using chicken bouillon.
Wait, what?
I know. Well, our chicken bouillon came in cubes, and in order to get it nice and powdery, we're going to improvise with some kitchen tools. So we're just going to crush it up.
I have to say that this is very therapeutic.
It is. Absolutely.
Very therapeutic.
Made a little bit of a hole in my bag here.
So ahorita Coach Jackie va a echarle el caldo del pollo. No tuvimos el caldo de pollo que viene en polvo, so tuvimos que usar nuestro hammer. Y la razón que estamos echando el caldo del pollo es para que le dé el sabor al coliflor y que le dé también extra sabor.
Right.
Si ahorita le echo los huevos.
Right, so we're just gonna make this all dough mixture. It's the cauliflower, the bouillon, the eggs, and we're gonna add the cheese too. So you'll see.
While you're stirring that, let me ask you, Jackie, how many years have you been making tamales?
So I have been making them, I will have to say, since I was little, since I was a kid. Growing up, this was our family's tradition. This is how we would spend Christmas Eve.
Same with you?
Day.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And when you're the kid in the kitchen, you get the low man on the totem pole job, and that is usually to clean the corn husks, which is what we typically will make them in. So traditionally, you make tamales and you wrap them in these corn husks. The problem with these corn husks, and these are beautifully clean. These are beautifully clean. When we were kids, they were very dirty. They had lots of silk in them, and they were always different sizes. Like this is in the same package as, you know, this big, huge one. So when you were making them, right, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
You'd have to sometimes stack them and try to make, and then they were all different sizes. Yeah, tear pieces off, and they would be all different sizes, and it was hard to get even cooking. So now technology, I have found parchment paper tamale wrappers.
Wow.
So these are for baking, for steaming, for cooking. The beauty is they're ready to use, they're clean, they're all uniform size. So now all of our tamales are very consistent. All right, so we're gonna add in 4 cups of cheese.
It's
This is mozzarella. So I'm just gonna dump it in here. We've already measured that out.
Okay, so echamos 4 tazas de queso y nosotros usamos mozzarella.
So between the eggs and the mozzarella cheese, that will bind everything together because of course cauliflower doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. But it's gonna be a nice hearty base. Growing up, our family made a recipe that was from Arizona. It was like a Native American recipe, Mexican Native American. And ours was with corn, using whole corn, creamed corn, Ortega green chilies, and cheese.
Yum.
So this is very reminiscent of it. That's why I liked this, because when I served this last year at Christmas to the elders in our family who were calling me ahead of time, asking me if you're making real tamales and not these healthy ones that you've been telling us about, I assured them that all the varieties would be available, and they didn't even know the difference.
Wow.
When we served them.
Exciting.
It was pretty exciting. And again, because we can do the meat filled as well, and we'll do chicken with green chili, but you can do any kind of meat filling. Traditionally, we would do pork with red chili sauce. Is that what you would use? Or what do you do?
Yeah, red chili, chile verde, and then we do rajas, so queso y rajas, so cheese and
the green chilies.
chilies.
Yeah.
So ahorita lo que construimos es la masa. So echamos los huevos, el queso, el coliflor. Le echamos el huevo para que el coliflor pegue con el queso y así podemos construir la masa. Como en masa tradicional usamos la agua, aquí vamos a usar los huevos. Y después Coach Jackie también encontró algo que se llama how do you call it? What did you call this?
Parchment paper.
Parchment paper que ella usa para hacer los tamales. So, tradicional usamos pues las hojas que tienes que mojar, pero sabemos que no vienen en el mismo tamaño, tienes que usar 2, uno, cortar las piezas. So, con el parchment paper todos van a salir en el mismo size. Yeah. We're going to use a little bit of Spanglish.
Yeah. So it sounds like traditionally you have tamale making gatherings or parties.
Yes. Well, when we were kids, we were the free labor. Mom would just have all of us kids do all the prep work. And back in the day, we couldn't buy a bag of shredded cheese. We had to use a box grater and grate cheese. We'd have to open the cans with the can opener. And now you can do pull tops. So many more conveniences now. But now, as I took over the tradition for my family 23 years ago, I invite whoever wants to learn to come.
Look at, not only are you sharing, inviting people over to your house, now we can share it with you guys, right?
Exactly. I think it's the best tradition, just any kind of cooking. It's a great activity to do with your family and with your kids. The cauliflower has a lot of water in it, so we want to pull off some of the water. We kind of just like squeeze it out with some paper towels. So we can do that in a minute, and then we can show you how to make the first tamales.
So when I haven't made these before. So in my kitchen, for example, we had to resort to using a hammer. But hey, you know, keeping it real. That's what we're all about.
Exactly.
But I have seen the use of a tea towel in being beneficial. So maybe having that as in your supplies to then wrap up the cauliflower and then squeeze out the water.
Yes, we can put it in a colander and do that as well.
Okay.
We don't want all of that in the tamale because it will be too wet.
Y va a presionar el coliflor para quitar todo el líquido. Putting some muscle into this.
Yeah. But see now how it's like dough.
Oh yeah.
See how it came out like dough now?
Ya se ve la masa.
La masa.
La masa.
Yummy.
I always start with a 1/4 cup to see how much it's going to be. I don't know if you can see all that. So we're going to press this out. This is the dough.
I could see how the kids would really enjoy
It's
this
really
part.
easy for the kids to do. Now, again, if we do the green chilies, you could put the green chili. You're going to put a little bit of cheese. And then we wrap it like this. One. Actually, turn that. This. And there's your tamale.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for the kids, you can also use a spoon to try to help them spread it out evenly.
We had prepared some chicken that we shredded, and we're going to do some green chili if you want to open that, Shannon.
Yeah.
open up the chili, and then we can just add that in.
So, Jackie, do you like to spread it all the way out to the ends, or do you like to leave some room?
I leave some room, and I keep it down here because I want this to be my flip up. Does that make sense? Oh, can you get that?
Yes, I'm fine. Told ya.
Look at you.
You're going to do about half a cup of your chili sauce.
So, vamos a usar media taza de la salsa al verde.
Yeah.
Do we do cheese too?
No,
Or
it
just
already
chicken?
has cheese in the masa.
Okay, great.
So, yep, perfect. You just make it tight and then pull it up.
I have never known how to make tamales. This is
There
so
you go.
interesting.
So we just had a regular pot, and if you have a steamer basket, I put some water in it. We didn't have a steamer basket, so I just put some foil on the bottom. And since we're not using real corn husks, the corn husks actually add a lot of flavor because they smell like corn. So I like to line the bottom with the corn husks. And again, I'd soak these ahead of time so that they would be pliable, but they basically give me a liner. And then when I do my tamales, you cook them standing up like this. And I just make a spiral around until they're all standing up in the pot. I'll put some more corn husks over the top to cover it, and then I will cover it either with a lid or foil. And we will steam cook this for a couple of hours. Once it is done cooking, we let it cool because the cauliflower has to set up.
And then we're gonna steam them on the stove. Is it low heat?
So we'll bring this to a boil to create the steam. Once it comes to a boil, then I turn it to low and just let it slow cook steam for a couple of hours.
Before we wrap up and before we continue on with this, I just wanted to show you some things that I found. I pulled up here of Claudia.
Thank you.
Here, there's Claudia, and do you know this tamale loving lady?
I know. Lots of tamales in
Oh,
there.
ladies. Amazing,
my
amazing.
wings in my
So
arms.
can you see it okay? Everybody, so this is Claudia, just not that long ago, right?
Yeah, I think I started my health journey in the end of April.
Wow, and look at you now. You're just glowing with health and rocking the lean and greens in the kitchen.
Yes.
Traditional recipes made healthy. I love
Yes,
it.
yes.
And Jackie, tell us a little bit about your story.
I started in 2017. It was the year I turned 50. Woo!
What? You're
Big
50?
I'm more than 50 now.
No
but that
way.
was 2017. My son was getting married, and I wanted to, the occasion, I wanted to get to look good. And I really wasn't too successful on my own. I ended up seeing some of my sorority sisters, and my health coach now, Chrissy, shared this program with me, along with other sorority sisters that were doing it, including one that was a doctor that really helped validate it for me that it was safe. I started in December 2017, and after losing weight in December, which was like, what?
Who loses weight in December?
No one loses weight in December.
Especially
I
with
didn't.
tamales.
With tamales, exactly. I was so excited, and after a couple months, I just was so happy, and people were not even recognizing me, and I just regained my confidence, and I just got my life back. I just didn't have the life. I wasn't living the life that I was meant to live. And after doing that, I was more present for my daughter, who was still in high school at the time, and it really made a difference for our family for me to get healthy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for showing us how easy it can be to make a very traditional recipe, but not only that, but to make it program approved with our weight loss goals. And it's such a fun thing to do in community.